It's been a while since we've done a theme month, so this month I wanted to take a look at the academics. Obviously, everyone's going back to school, so I figured we would call this August Academic Angst. And the whole theme here is we've got sex or some sort of an occult theme. So we've got, I guess you would say, schools which are either run or you have an occult motive, either run by Satanists or witches in general. So the first film I wanted to take a look at is the 1973 film, Satan's School for Girls. This was produced by Aaron Spelling. It is considered one of the standout films from the 70s. This is from the ABC Movie of the Week. This was a television film. The film was co-produced with Aaron Spelling and Leonard Goldberg. In 1968, Aaron Spelling began producing successful television shows, some which may be better known are The Mod Squad, Charlie's Angels. He later went on to produce Beverly Hills 90210 and Charmed, which, ironically, Spelling did produce the remake of Satan's School for Girls, and Shannon Doherty did play the lead. And this was roughly between the second and third season of Charmed, so just a bit of irony there. I don't know if it was planned or just biting off the popularity of the whole witch occult, and Sharon Doherty was obviously already an established figurehead. The film does open with a woman frantically driving. She's fleeing from something, we really don't know what. She stops to make a phone call. All of a sudden there's this dark figure, this man walking towards her. She freaks out and takes off. She makes it to her sister's home, but obviously her sister's out. When her sister does return, they discover her body hanging in the living room. Elizabeth Sayers then takes it upon herself to investigate her sister's death or murder, so she goes to the Salem Academy for Women, which the title itself should be, just a dead giveaway that this school's kind of weird. But she goes, she does make the rounds, investigates, and there are quite a few characters there. In one of her classes, an art class, she runs across a young woman who ironically happened to have painted her sister's portrait. She takes it upon herself to question this girl, Debbie, and wonders why was she drawn with a startled look on her face. What is this weird dungeon-like background? The girl swears that it was something that she just made up. Elizabeth later discovers that this is an actual room in the basement or the cellar of the dormitory, and pretty much everything from there just sets into motion. The prime suspect in the film is Professor Delacroix. He runs a psychology class with mice experiments in a maze. And there's quite a bit of foreshadowing there in the beginning where Delacroix does say that the purpose of the experiment was to manipulate the creatures, to wear them down, to defeat their resistance. So to some degree, we do see this with the schoolgirls in the school. Debbie herself comments on this as well. And the headmistress herself, Mrs. Williams, is a prime example of this. Once everything is revealed, she's sort of manipulated or mind controlled to do the bidding. The twist itself probably is just a bit obvious who the real perpetrator is. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to tell you. I will give you a chance to watch that for yourself, but it's definitely a great film. It's cheesy, it's a bit predictable in some points, but it is well acted. My only complaint about the acting is Terry Lumley, the frantic woman at the beginning of the film who plays Martha Sayers. When a figure is coming towards her, obviously we know that's going to be the last we're going to see of her, but she has this ridiculously exaggerated shock look on her face. Other than that, the film is pretty solid. That was pretty much my only complaint. So we do discover that someone in the school has been manipulating everyone. This person is considered either Satan himself or he actually is. And it's sort of ties back to the beginning of the film where supposedly 8 girls had died in the school. He's trying to regather the 8 that had been lost, and Elizabeth has been asked to be the 8th girl. She refuses and smashes a lamp in the basement. This causes a huge fire. Everyone, for some odd reason, decides to stay behind and just become barbecued critters. But yeah, it is a fairly basic film, pretty straightforward. I enjoyed it. I definitely picked up on a lot of things I missed on the second viewing. Everything's very subtle, but If you go into it already knowing or having already seen it, you definitely do pick up on a lot more. So it's definitely one of those movies where you get a lot more out of it with each repeat viewing. You definitely get your money's worth out of it, whether it's something you rent or buy. The film did jump on the whole devil bandwagon, wanted to cash in on the popularity of the whole devil film theme at the time. It's definitely not as intense as its counterparts. It's tame by today's standards. It was tame by the standards at the time. And this is considering the fact that it was running alongside The Exorcist, which was also released in 1973. So it's, like I've said, it's a very mild story, but it's also not as sleazy as the title suggests. Obviously, Satan's School for Girls, a lot of people would think that it's, some sort of a school exploitation film, and it definitely does not go that route at all. It plays very straight. It stays in a safe place. Pretty much anyone can watch it. It's not one of those films to where you have to wonder to yourself, am I going to see something that I can't watch with the kids, or I can't watch with someone who doesn't watch horror films on a regular basis. So it's definitely a safe bet. It is a very dark and moody film. It holds tension and atmosphere very well. It's somewhat of a, I guess you could say it's a crime mystery hybrid. It's not really much in the way of a horror film. There's really no gore. You just constantly hear about girls supposedly committing suicide, and you would think to yourself that there's some weird suicide epidemic going on at that school. During the course of the film, we do lose 3 girls. We really don't see any self-inflicting. We don't see anyone kill them. They just sort of turn up. As previously stated, Aaron Spelling did produce a remake of Satan's School for Girls that was back in 2000. Shannon Doherty did play the lead. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a copy of the film. I don't know if it's out of print. To my knowledge, it never made it to DVD. It was only on VHS. I didn't want to go the whole illegal download route. I don't believe in that. I would really have loved to have been able to watch that and review, do a comparison for you guys. I have seen a few clips online. It's extremely different, and it looks pretty enjoyable, but if anybody knows a way that I could find a copy of this, please let me know. I would definitely love to come back and revisit this discussion and do a film comparison for you. But that is all I have for today. I will talk to you later.